Welcome to Track Limits and Emotional Damage, all things racing. This is our Around the Circuit midweek news.
Ew, I like that.
Yeah. You thought
Yeah,
I
that
thought that
was
that
that
was
was
a right around the circuit.
yeah,
I thought it was a good play. Yeah,
that was good.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so let's talk about one headline that I noticed was F1 with all the squawks and pressure to change any of the regulations. Most likely, they're not going to change any regulations till after the Japan race, so probably we'll see if we do see any new regulations, it'll be at the Miami Grand Prix. What do you
Which
think?
makes sense. Which makes sense that if they would hold off with the two races being canceled in April, Bahrain and Saudi, that gives them a whole month. One, it gives teams a whole month to really work on upgrades, as well as it gives the FIA and race body another month to really kind of think through, are there things Miami forward that they want to like fix or focus on. Obviously the race start is a big one. And I can see where Ferrari has been making a big push of like, we saw this coming a while ago and we figured out we shouldn't be punished. So I understand like where Ferrari is coming from when it comes to they've obviously figured out how to start the race. They consistently jump from fourth to first before the first turn easily. So it'll be interesting to see what they do change. Obviously, the other one is Mercedes in their engine, and if they're doing something with the compression ratio that's giving them a big advantage. So those are kind of I think some of the bigger ones that the FIA needs to look into. I will say we're only two races in, so a little bit of grace just to kind of understand how these regulations kind of suss out. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be nice because we don't have to worry about anything crazy going into Japan, and then it's a whole month of like just nothing. Oh,
I think it'll be, I mean, I think it's a good call. I think next race they'll probably set it up so it's a lot like the previous races we just saw, but it will be interesting to see what happens afterwards and in that month of downtime of what the teams can come up with.
yeah, and it
Downtime,
does.
you know.
Yeah, no, it does, and it does sound like that Ferrari is going to be implementing the flippy wing that they were testing a little bit over the last race. So that'll be interesting to see if they can get it for Japan to make it make sense. But I'm
Yeah,
guessing
it's,
that there is. Go ahead.
I think they got enough data that they wanted from the last China race, so it'll be interesting to see if they are you hearing if they're gonna implement it like the whole race or just more data collection, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure we'll see it at testing. The nice thing about Japan is it's not a sprint race, so they'll have 3 full practice sessions to really see if it makes sense to continue utilizing. Obviously, there is some advantage that they see just being that they rushed it to get it out and get it some track time for the China. So my guess is honing it in. If they're not going to be able to get more performance out of the engine, then they can find performance out of the aero to be as competitive as possible. So, and there is some rumor that they're really kind of focusing on unlocking as much power as possible out of their engine, as well as in new iterations, from what it sounds.
Yeah, I'm excited. I thought the
Yeah,
flipping
me
wing was
too.
cool, so when they took it away, I was like, oh man.
Well, and that it's interesting. Ferrari is really sparking a lot of debate with a lot of things because they had that little air diverter that they put on the front of the
Mm-hmm.
halo, and they ended up taking it off, I believe, for the last race. But it has kind of sparked this idea of like diverting that air is similar to kind of like a windscreen, like IndyCar has kind of since gone to. So is
Mm-hmm.
it something that they would be exploring of putting a formal windscreen like we see in IndyCar? I hope not. I know the Halo does a great job and it is there to save lives, and there are countless drivers that are on the grid currently that probably owe their lives to that safety device. But it would be interesting to see if that is, where when they start trying to tweak and find these little bits here, because I can't imagine that that little air diverter on the front was that much extra time that it would be worth developing, unless it was just a low hanging fruit and it's like, hey, we can do something quick, we can test it and see if it works, and if it doesn't, who cares? Which is probably the more likely than none on that. But it is interesting that little kind of doohickey that Ferrari was testing has kind of sparked this bigger debate of windscreens on Formula One cars.
Yeah, it is. I also just think it's I think they're other teams. I think see it and they're like, it's such a simple modification, and they're like, oh, why didn't I do it? So I'm gonna complain about it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, talking about Indy though, there's a driver who is currently in there. I believe his name is Colton Herta, and he is a prospect right now for Cadillac. And he is currently trying to make the transition. He's running F2, or he's trying to get into F2, and then you move up into F1. But he's trying to make that transition, and Cadillac's got his eye on him. But so this would be really exciting because it would be an American in the lineup. So I think it will be interesting. I hope it doesn't mean they take Bottas out. Sorry,
Yeah.
Checo. But he might be like a reserve driver, or yeah. I mean, I don't know how hard that transition is from Indy to F1. I would assume it's not like insanely different, but I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you think?
my guess is it's not like crazy different because Indy cars technically are faster than Formula One, if I'm correct on that one. So I would say that my guess is the pit strategy and things like that are where you start to see a little bit different. Like, I think the strategy and how your tires and how you go about that stuff is a lot different. But I don't think that like the actual racing and the actual driving is going to be that different from car to car. It's probably just more technical in Formula One, where it's each manufacturer makes it a little bit differently, so each car is going to drive a little bit differently. Where Indy, it's going to be similar across the board. Yeah, I think that's really Formula One news. Obviously, with no race this week, Japan is going to be next week. So another early morning, late evening for those sitting in the U.S. But yeah, I think there's some other cool stuff going on around the horn. You did have you watched the Kenyan rally. Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, the Kenya rally was brutal. I mean, I think from what I watched, it was nuts. It was like I'll put some clips in, but the ruts of the track were just like obliterating cars. Like there was one scene where a car went in. I mean, rally's rough as it is, but then the car went in and the whole back fender and tire just went like bye. Yeah, it was. I think it's marked as one of the most brutal weekends. It took out so many drivers. I think like even the person who won, I'm blanking right now on his name, but even he just barely kept his car together going down the track. So it was pretty gnarly. Like yeah. I've never seen something like that, but it was good. I mean, like, to me, rally driving is like, they're crazy as it is because they're just flying through forest stands and just crazy stuff in like a Yaris.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
of all things, it's not anything like anything groundbreaking. That's the funny bit is they're in like, a Toyota Focus.
Just ripping through.
Or not a Focus, Ford Focus, ripping through. And those things are crazy. I mean, those little Focuses that are made for rally, those things are wild to watch. So, I mean, like I had the Volkswagen
Golf.
I had the Golf, and that was so much fun to drive around. I totally missed that car, just because it was so zippy. So I totally get it. But yeah, rally is not for the faint of heart. And I've seen some just like cars just get absolutely annihilated. And it's fun watching some of the like crazy ingenuity on how they fix cars quickly to get back on the road too. No, I mean, next on the schedule, we have Max is participating in the Nürburgring 24 hours, so that's going to be middle of next month,
Yes. Sorry.
right?
Yes. So
May,
so in May.
April,
May.
yeah, May.
April,
So,
May. Yeah.
April,
Whatever.
May, yeah. So in a month and a half, he'll be doing his 24 hours at Nürburgring. Uh,
Yeah.
and
That'll
then
be
I
really
believe,
fun.
yeah, and then he's San Felipe 250 Baja race.
And then
He's coming up as well.
he's so on March 21st or 22nd, I'm not sure quite how the time zone works, but Max is actually doing the NLS 2 race, which is a 4-hour it's a 4-hour Newburgh race, warm up essentially for the 24-hour one. So you might want to catch that. I think it's streaming on Twitch, YouTube. You can find it there.
We'll have to.
I know the
we'll have to
Newburgh.
jump in and watch it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. The Newburgh 24 in May. I think Red Bull TV will be streaming it live.
Nice.
But I don't know about this race for sure. But it's always on YouTube.
Yeah, you can find everything on YouTube.
But yeah, and then also, like you said, the Baja in Mexico. That'll be fun. I'll be watching that as well. I love a good Baja race. It's like rally, but trucks, you know?
Yeah, I think that's everything I have. Pretty quiet week. I mean, I think with the races being canceled, and Japan just being next week, it'll be interesting to see if anybody brings anything. But my guess is it'll be pretty quiet after next week with everything. I bet you will. But I am excited because we'll definitely see a lot of development probably in that off time between the Japan Grand Prix and Miami. So that'll be really cool to see, and hopefully we get to see some cars, kind of other teams move up a little bit. Yeah, awesome.